Well, hello everybody on YouTube, Facebook, everybody that follows me, Matthew, your friendly neighborhood technician. Hope everybody's doing well. I broke my phone that I use my camera on, so I'm not real sure what the quality of this video is going to be like. But I think it's about time that I give you an update video on the work that I currently have going on. As you can see, there's been some changes around here. The Chrysler timing water pump job, that was a success. That was done. Customers are happy. As a matter of fact, I'm helping them out on some other things as well. So that's pretty good. And that's out of here. We have a Dodge Intrepid that we're currently working on right now. And so what we need to do real quick is find our hood stand for this. I'm going to put you down here for just a second. Okay, so what this originally started with, this is a 96, 97 Dodge Intrepid with a 3.3 liter engine. Had a lot of slop in the steering wheel. Found out that the bushings, the mount bushings, see the tip of my finger down in there. Found out the mount bushings were bad. It's a common thing on here. A lot of people think they need new tie rods or alignments or a whole new rack and pinion, but that's not the case. As we went in to remove the rack and pinion so we could replace the bushings, due to it just being an old rusty car, we've had to battle all kinds of broken bolts and stuff like that. That's been the main hindrance on this. But just a few notes on these Dodge Intrepids and Chryslers and all that other stuff. In order to get to the rack and pinion, to work on it, service it, or just remove it, the best thing to do is to remove the upper intake. And while you're in there removing the upper intake, if it's old and shows sign of leaking and stuff, you might as well go ahead and replace valve cover gaskets, intake gaskets. And then so a few things, extra things that we ended up finding was some of the wiring for the fuel injectors was exposed and getting on its way to shorting out is what I would call it. So we've cut and we're getting ready to replace those as well. And then, like I said, this has been the nightmare of broken bolts. As you can see, I have the exhaust manifold removed. I got new plugs in it. And so the reason why I have this exhaust manifold removed is because we have a broken bolt here. And so, yep, I've got it out. I've got everything out that I need to drill and tap this. So what I use when I drill out bolts is I use reverse drill bits. So in other words, it cuts counterclockwise and it'll cut down in there. And hopefully what will happen is it'll grab it and take it out, just by drilling it. But if not, my method is to start off with a small bit, right? And I'll get in there and I'll make a pilot hole. And then if it doesn't come out, what I'll do is I'll start going up, one at a time until I get to the point to where I get in there. And if you're precise with it, you can drill one out to the point to where there's nothing but the threads left, and then you just take a pair of pliers and you pull those threads out, and they come out just like a spring. And so, and believe it or not, this is done for me. This has been done by muscle memory. And what I'll do again, and if you watch some of my other videos where I drill and tap stuff out, is I'll play on this side just a little bit, and I'll figure out my angle, and I'll even take the time to figure out how I'm going to set my elbow and how I'm going to set down. So that way when I get to drilling, I can do it precisely. And I've got good muscle memory in my hands in order to do it. But when it comes to drilling and tapping bolts, to this day, I don't know any school or any book knowledge that really is out there for doing this. It's just an art form, and it takes a little bit of patience. And so that's what I'm going to do on this Dodge Intrepid to get that going. And then, of course, we have the Yamaha Bear Tracker 250. It's not the labor that turned into a nightmare on this job. It's the fact that I wanted to keep it within an awesome budget. The guy was really leaning towards possibly just selling it, and I told him, listen, if I could just have it and do it for as cheap as a few $100s, I can rebuild the whole thing. And so that's what I did. In order to do that, though, I had to go to China via the internet and eventually order the parts. I had a hard time finding anything in the States anyways, and I'm talking the internal timing components and camshafts and all that other stuff. So now that I finally got it in, it's sat on the back burner for about another month, and so now that I'm finally all caught up with my work, it's time to start pulling it out and getting it all set up, getting it ready to put back together, and that's exactly what I'm doing there. So the 350 here, that's a whole nother story. I don't know if I should share it or not. I mean, you guys are hopefully following me, and maybe one day I'll be in my own commercial shop. So it's a weird situation. The owner of it is incarcerated and has been for months. And I just everything from the finances on it are just a mess, with the owner being incarcerated, and I don't know what to do with it or about it. Somebody told me if I sit on it long enough, I can end up owning it through the mechanics lien, but again, I'm not real sure what to do there. So anyway, so yeah, you'll see more on this Yamaha Bear Tracker, especially when I start setting the timing up. I'll make a video to show you how to do that. Now then, the nightmare. If you've been watching my videos, you'll know that the Hustler 72-inch wide deck Super Z, zero turn radius, whatever else you want to call it, lawnmower, that I basically rebuilt the engine, minus the only thing we didn't change on this engine was pistons, piston rings, crankshaft, camshaft, and 2 hydraulic lifters. The casing and the cylinder heads. Everything else has been pretty much replaced. We started off with major oil leaks. This thing was a huge mess. It had major starting issues on it. It wouldn't start at times. And so we did the complete rebuild on the engine, put it all back together. Long story short, had a problem getting it started. Spent quite a bit of time making sure it had nothing to do with our labor or our work, and we finally got to the point the other day, after bypassing the safety interlock system, including the PTO switch and everything else, I got the thing to turn over. It does work. It turns over beautifully. So now at this point, as you can see the mess that I have, check that out. Okay, so what do we need to do? I need to buy new switches. I need to buy new wires. I've got burnouts all over this place. I've got to uninstall all of this wire harness, go ahead and get into it and replace, splice in, cut out old burnout wire, splice in new wire. I need to replace my PTO switch and a few other things, and it has been a hard road to get here, but we never gave up, never gave in. We have a philosophy. I have a philosophy my mentor has taught me, and that's man has always had power over inanimate objects, and that's all this is nothing more than an inanimate object. So yes, in the end, now that we know it starts and it'll turn over, and it turns over great, and we figured out the electrical issue, we are finished, and we are moving forward by replacing electrical on the instrument panel, putting it all back together, and then we will be done. Yay! So, the final nightmare that we are coming to the end of is the burnt valve on the Toyota Corolla, okay? And this thing has been interesting. One of the biggest hindrances on the 1.8 liter here was finding a good head for it. There was none really in Idaho that we could get at. The heads on them just don't go bad. The valves, you just never really see a burnt valve on them. I mean, you see warped heads that can be shaved down due to water pumps going out, bad head gaskets, but as far as valves burning up on one of these, you just don't see it. And so it's been a long road coming, but as you can see here now, I've got I'd say 80-85% of the engine, including the top half, rebuilt, redone, and I'm slowly now getting down to the nitty-gritty stuff, the tedious stuff, like making sure all of my grounds find their homes and doing that. So this one I expect to be done here in the next day or two as I slowly get things back together on it. So that's where I'm at, folks. So that's what I got going on around here right now. And I believe these customers are pretty happy. I stay in constant communication with them about where I'm at and what I'm doing and stuff, and so they're happy. The mower, that one, I love the fact that with good people, I'm able to turn things around. We had some misunderstandings on it, but in the end, everybody came back together. We put our heads together, and as you can see, I got it figured out, and now we're going to move forward. And in the end, this person will have an amazing mower that will last them for years to come. So that's where we're at, folks, and that's everything. I think I'm going to go ahead and stop this video here, and the next one I'm going to show the best I can, just being one man here, how to go ahead and drill this out. So, well, everybody, I appreciate you. Idaho, I appreciate you supporting me. Matthew, your friendly neighborhood technician. Everybody else out there, I definitely appreciate you supporting me and watching my videos. If you have any questions or comments, just go ahead and put them down there. Please make sure you like and share. This is Matthew, your friendly neighborhood technician, signing off.